Hello, Marcus. It's really nice to have a Skype chat with you today. We're on the threshold of the next chapter of the Missing project, and you have been in our journey since we've got to know you in November last year. And I'm going to shoot you some questions in that front.
Sure.
What I would really like to know is what struck you about the Missing Game for a Cause when you first came across it?
I came across it at the NASCAR conference in November in 2016, and I was struck by the theme and the overall feel of the game, with both the part of it as an overall project with the Missing project as a whole, but to use a game and the gaming medium for a societal problem. And I also like the combination of, I mean, when you played the game, you felt the frustration and the hopelessness of the main character Champa when she was abducted. And I think that's the only medium where you can get the receiver feel the same things that the main character is supposed to feel within the medium. So that was the most interesting part, to actually be able to feel frustration and anger and sorrow because of the combination of the gameplay and the theme.
That's great. Yeah, it was a totally new area which we were treading, and we were really happy to see the way everyone was, sort of receiving the game. So here it takes me to the next question, actually. It's like, with your background in making games for social change, which you have done another study apparently in Sweden, where do you think Missing could be used? How do you think Missing could be used?
Yeah, I have done quite a few game projects with a more serious topic, and used in museums and on cultural heritage sites. And games is a really nice way to address a specific issue, and also to raise questions and raise awareness about this issue. And as I talked about earlier, with the connection between the player and the characters in the game, it gets really close when you do that kind. And a well-designed game can actually put more emphasis on the subject itself. So I think it's a really good way of raising awareness and in the long run, hopefully make changes as well.
Yeah, so though I would like more depth in that, which I think we will get from my next question, is like, how can the data, if we collect data through the game via either the study of the demographics or beyond, like, I will just club all the questions. For me, it's now about to make an actual change. I'd love to be able to have some relevant data to give back to the right people. So how can this game be used?
I lost you there, Lina.
How would the game be used?
I lost you there.
Yeah, so to make an actual relevant change, like which we are hoping we can make, what I have realized, like, it would be very important to have kind of it would be nice to study or get the demographics of the kind of people playing it, and where could that lead us in our data analysis on social behavior and such. So can you tell me, how can this game be used, the data, if we do go into collection of data via the game?
Yes. Yeah, and when doing these kind of games, it's really important to have a connection between the actual subject and the game itself. And in order to do that, you must work structurally. And my background is in research, games research. And when we have done these kind of projects before, it is a part of a research project where we both look at what kind of change can we do, or what kind of behaviors do you want to inflict, or what kind of questions we want to raise. But we also need to have a structured way in doing that, in order to actually see that, okay, this is doing something at all. And to do that, the connection to a research project would be really interesting. And I hope I can provide some insights in that by service and doing actual data collection on players in order to find what the game can be used for. It's a longer process for sure than just making a game. But in order to actually make the game's theme more valuable, so to say, I think it's a good way to have that aspect as well in the project.
Yes, so even if you study the demographics, the data on the demographics of the game, like the back end, like which are the players, from where are they, what's the age, and a little bit more insight on how could that actually lead us to some concrete data analysis on the issue, because there has to be. I mean, it's very important to know what are we heading towards, like, and what are we hoping to achieve.
Yeah. And that is something that is really hard to answer. I don't know if I can say that things will lead to a change by playing a game. But
yeah, I mean, that definitely, yeah.
But I think by using a game for this kind of awareness, you get attention twofold. Well, firstly, we have the theme and the area itself, the project itself, using both the combination of an art project and a game project, which is, well, a more technical side of art, where you can also make the user or the viewer or the receiver more of a participant in the art not just a passive viewer, yes, but also active within it. And by doing that, if you can do the connection right between the game's gameplay and the theme, then I believe you can read of the setting as a whole, instead of just viewing or reading or listening to something. You're also acting as a player, and that is really important to find that connection. But it's also really difficult to do. And I mean, we have through the last 10 years or so, we have heard great things about games in school and games for different kind of purposes. But there are really few examples that really can show on some kind of progress. And what I believe is missing in most of the cases is a more long-term study. You only look at a shorter period of time. And since this project has been running for a couple of years, there is already some kind of results, and this can be compared, I believe, in the new, when you're venturing into the digital domain as well. Yes. So I believe that the whole setting is what makes it really interesting from a game research perspective, yeah, using games for this very serious topic, but also as a part of a larger art project.
Right. And so you do believe that a concentrated and a focused data collection could actually lead to some long-term concrete data collection, which could be used by policymakers, analysts, and others. I'm not saying that we'll make a change with the game, but we could use the data we collect to create a change. I'm talking about it being a conduit or or in-between space. Yes, to help make a bigger change, like you're saying, a long-term project.
And that is also interesting with using games, because you are able to collect different kinds of data. You can gather data from both the app stores, the reviews on the app stores, and see how many people has this project reached. I mean, as we speak, you have about 50,000 downloads on the Google Play Store for the first missing game, and that's a concrete number that you can see. You have reached 50,000 people, and but if you plan for it ahead, like a next step of the missing game, you can also build in
different kind of metrics, and see how do players behave with the game world, what choices do they make, what questions do they ask, how do they behave, where do they put their time, to get a broader view of how are they acting when they are interacting with this world that you are building in the game.
Excellent. So, and do you think this could be used and would be used in a much more? It's something which you would go with, like from your gut feeling, that this could actually lead to some very good data.
Sorry, take that again.
Saying, and just as a final recap, you think this could definitely lead to some concrete data, right? Which could actually help policymakers.
Yes, I do. Okay. Especially since it's planned ahead for.
Yes.
If it's planned ahead for,
yes,
then you can also design the game with that purpose.
Right. Excellent. And Marcus, just this final question is like, what do you think the future of the missing game should be, like the next step? Especially as we are planning to address larger audiences and things like that. So just what do you think, what could be the future of the missing game as the next step?
I think it would be really interesting to see how the game would be received in a more international audience, to make collaborations with different kind of organizations and using the game, maybe to have a game telling different stories from different perspectives. Like a large trend of today is making games like chapter based or in episodical content, and maybe doing a game like that in order to reach a broader audience and also be able to address the issue from different perspectives. That I think would be really interesting to see, and hopefully it will be doable as well.
Yeah, we are definitely hoping. We're just so overwhelmed by whatever reactions we are getting, and we definitely hope we will be able to take it on for a longer haul and get the full potential out with what we've just set out to do. And we'll have people like you, Marcus. You're going to be definitely there as a friend and as somebody who's going to help us take it forward.
Of course.
Thank you so much, Marcus, and I think you've done well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.